Mike, I like how you're very transparent at this point about the trade deadline that's August 1st. Your quote before yesterday's game was, "We're open for business. We're going to do deals that make sense for us." I mean, other teams must just be like, if I like somebody on the Nats roster, I'm giving Mike a call because Mike is ready to wheel and deal. I'd like to hear that.
Well, sure. I mean, I never thought it made sense to, kind of hide it from the fan base what we're trying to do. I mean, I think being open and honest with what we're trying to do is better accepted by the fan base, and I think that they've accepted it well the last couple of years. They know what our plan is. We haven't made it a secret, and I think that I think the key word there is we're deals that make sense to us, and we're always open for that, no matter what our record is, and this year is no different.
Do conversations already start kind of leading up to it to kind of see the interest, or is that something that all happens like in the last 48 hours?
No, I think we've been talking to teams, just expressing interest, and a lot of the first couple of phone calls are, what are you guys looking to do, and
right.
What's your general plan, and then if there's a match, we'll get back to them, we'll get more specific and say, hey, does Joe Smith fit for you guys as that right-handed pinch hitter you think about, and kind of. We're looking for matches from other teams. Other teams are looking for matches for us. And when you get a match that works, that's when really the negotiating starts about the actual specific trade.
Is there a top secret intranet that only GMs have access to? Where you guys like a Discord channel or something? You know what I mean? Or is it all just old school phone calls?
Yeah, there's no website that I'm aware of.
No group text.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like a group text.
That has a group chat. No, there's no group text. We do text. We do text quite a bit, and just kind of. But when it gets serious, and when it gets down to it, then that it's a phone call, and
right.
and then you lock in, and you really get specific about what you're doing. But I think some of the preliminary stuff can be handled by text. And then I like to do it the personal way, but give a phone call, even if it's a 2-minute phone call. I think is better than a 6-line text.
Right,
Mike. I would obviously never ask for a specific name here, but when you hear your phone buzz or you see a text message from a certain number or a certain GM, do you look at that number and say, "Well, I'm going to get the best out of this deal," because I usually get the best of the deal when I deal with person X? Has that ever happened in your past?
I wouldn't say that you're happy because you're going to win the trade or take advantage of the GM. There are GMs that you do a lot more business with than others. That's a fact. I don't know if it's if it's the way that the conversations happen, or if you're more comfortable with that person in the conversation, or you just match up with the players that they're looking to do and that we have, and but we've had certain GMs that I've done multiple deals with, and you kind of speak the same language and just happen to have the players that we wanted to acquire and that they wanted to move at the correct time. So I think there is those type of moments when you see a name come up on the phone and you say, "Oh, okay, we'll see what he wants to do," because he doesn't he won't waste your time. He'll get to the point and
right.
we'll see if there's something to do.
I guess in the last 2 or 3 days, I think you called up Brady House, or he moved up a level. I think to AA. I think that's right. After a small sample size, right? Like he did well. Like, how do you make that call, Mike, where you go, okay, he's doing well, but it's a small, I don't want to ruin his mojo here. That's a delicate balancing act, right? You got to make sure he's dialed in, and he's locked in, and that he's done what he needs to do at that level. You move him up too early, you could derail the guy.
Well, I think you have to know the personality and the makeup of the player. If you're going to derail him by him failing at another level, you should be careful with that. Brady House won't have that problem. He's a confident player, and if he does struggle, which is quite common, that a guy at 20 years old will go to AA and struggle, especially right after you until you get acclimated to the level. I don't think it will not make him regress. He will not lose confidence and that type of thing. We had our plan was for him to finish the season in AA. So he would have been there at some time this year. And in Wilmington, he played 16 games and played terrific at third base and handled the league very, very well. So we felt that he was ready to progress to the next level, and which is a big jump to AA. And we'll see how he does there. We won't judge him by his batting average and stuff like that. We'll judge him by how he acclimates himself to the level. He'll be very, very young for that level. Both he and James Wood and they'll be 20-year-old players in that league, and Hassel's 21 in that league, so they're all extremely young for that level. So Hassel and Wood have handled it well. I think Brady will handle it well, and I think that it'll just progress him going into this offseason.
Talking to Mike Rizzo, Nats GM, President of Baseball Operations. So let's celebrate a player who won Player of the Week, CJ Abrams. He was 6 for 13, 462 average. How would you describe his season overall? He's a young player, is definitely one of the building blocks. I believe he just got a bobblehead. How do you think he's fared this season?
I think he's progressing well. The thing with young players, that was a 22-year-old player playing the most important and probably beyond catcher the most vital defensive position on the field at shortstop. He's the captain of the infield, and at 22 years old, that's a lot on your plate. And I think he's handled it well. I think he's grown in the position. He, like just about every other young player in the league, and any other young player that I've ever had, is you'll see stretches of brilliance and you'll see stretches of inconsistencies. And the secret to being going from a good player to a great player and a great player to a MVP type of player is, can you stay focused for the 200 or so pitches that are thrown every night at a vital position of shortstop, and that's the goal for each player. Be consistent each and every pitch. It's not game to game or even inning by inning. It's pitch by pitch, and it's hard to be locked in for 180 pitches a night on defense, and then get your 4 or 5 at bats on offense and stay extremely focused each and every time. That's the goal that our coaches have to impress on these guys. That's the way that these guys will get better, and I see that in CJ and in Louis Garcia and in Ruiz, who plays another vital position. That the longer they play, the more experience they get. The longer they focus in, and the less kind of mental mistakes that they're making.